With Superman's son, Jon Kent, apparently about to go through some power changes of his own that reflect the Superman Blue electric powers from 1997, I thought it would be a good time to go back and check out the Superman Blue story from that era. DC Comics released Superman number 123, introducing the world to the new man of energy, Superman Blue, back in 1997. While Superman's powers had gone through a variety of changes over the years since 1938, the fundamental nature of the Man of Steel had always remained the same. That was no longer the case, officially starting from Superman 123, which hit comic store shelves in March of 1997. Everything you knew about Superman's powers, abilities, and appearance became comic book history as DC brought us the new Superman, the man beyond tomorrow. The new powers fully developed in Superman 123, released on March 12, 1997, by Dan Jurgens, Ron Frenz, and Joseph Rubinstein. Not only did Superman have new powers, but he also had a new costume and a new symbol. The landmark issue, featuring a new Superman logo, also featured a special glow-in-the-dark cover on thick paper stock. With the new costume, gone were the red trunks and cape, the hallmarks of Superman. He wore a blue costume with white lightning bolts down all four of his limbs. His chest carried a new stylized S in the same lightning bolt motif. His whole body was covered by the costume except for his hair and face, which also took on a blue energy hue. The new costume was in fact a containment suit. In the month leading up to the landmark issue, Superman 123, Superman slowly changed into a being made of energy. The suit was made from a fabric which was designed and patented by LexCorp and kindly donated by Contessa Erica del Portenza, then the CEO of the corporation. The look of the costume was probably put together by Professor Hamilton, an old friend of Superman's, and Lois, his wife. As for his powers, these were a little more complicated. The main thing was all his classic powers were gone, no more heat vision, X-ray vision, super hearing, or invulnerability. It all began in Superman 122 when he blew up a toaster, passed his hand through a coffee pot, and most alarmingly accidentally hurt an innocent bystander when bullets passed right through him. Another side effect was that electrical goods went kaput when he was near them. These problems were soon cleared up thanks to the containment suit. Things really heated up in the adventures of Superman 545 when everything went wrong. His whole body started to pass through things, he lost his flight power, and his vision powers completely changed. He began to pass through things because he had been knocked out of phase with our reality. In Superman Annual number 9, we were told that as Superman Blue, he was 100% energy and was slightly out of phase with the normal reality plane. By concentrating hard, Superman could solidify himself back to a human state, reverting back to Clark Kent and into the normal reality plane, but then he had no powers at all. At first, when changing back into Clark Kent, he had no clothes on, but that wasn't a problem after a while, although where his clothes went during his phase into Superman was unknown. Okay, so what could he do? Before anything else, it should be noted that the following information was given in the JLA Secret Files number 1, Who's Who page on Superman. Superman, the Man of Tomorrow. Containment suit stores energy which is transformed into other powers. Those powers being teleportation instead of flying, intangibility, supervision, and the creation of electromagnetic fields. With teleportation, instead of being able to fly, Superman was able to zap from place to place. As for his supervision powers, as an energy being, Superman no longer had his X-ray, telescopic, or any of his other classic powers. He had the ability to see radiation, wavelengths, and spectra, all of which he could not see before. Superman was also able to manipulate electrons. This first manifested itself in Action Comics 732, when Superman tried to stop a lorry. A beam of energy, which appeared to be magnetic in nature, shot from his outstretched hand and grabbed the vehicle. Superman could also morph or change his appearance by manipulating the electrons of his containment suit and energy. As seen in Action Comics 733, while Superman was getting advice from the Ray, he appeared to make his containment suit morph into a blue and white version of the Ray's costume. Along the same lines as his morphing ability, Superman was able to make himself intangible, transparent, or invisible, as seen in Man of Steel number 74, when he tried to save Lois without being seen by Rajiv, her kidnapper who suspected that Clark is Superman. Superman also was able to create a solid energy field. Basically, a part of his electron manipulation powers was Superman's solid energy field. In Man of Steel number 68, Superman manipulated his solid energy field to smother fires. Another facet of his electron manipulation powers was an electromagnetic force. This power was first tried out by Superman in Man of Steel number 73 when he was attempting to protect Lex Luthor from Apocalypse parademons and came up with the idea of magnetizing the metal worn by his opponents, causing them to crash together in a useless pile. Other powers that Superman Blue exhibited were computer symbiosis, energy absorption, conscious multiplicity, and self-healing. The strangest of Superman's new powers was discovered in the beginning of the Genesis event in Man of Steel number 72, probably caused by the God Wave that changed most superheroes' powers across the DC universe. This dimensional teleportation was the opening up of windows to other dimensions. As for his weaknesses as Superman Blue, kryptonite no longer seemed to affect Superman in his energy form. It was presumed that this was because his DNA had changed completely, as seen in Superman number 126. It appeared that magic, one of Superman's classic weaknesses, still held power over him in his new form. In Adventures of Superman Annual number 9, Superman found he was unable to absorb the punches or impacts he received while fighting a mythological being, and when he grabbed hold of a pendant hanging around the creature's neck, he received a mighty shock. Superman himself pondered that the feeling had magic written all over it. Also of note is the fact that Superman did not lose his powers when subjected to sunlight of a red sun, as seen in the JLA Wildcats crossover. Therefore, it was presumed that the Earth's yellow sun was no longer the source of Superman's powers. As for what his weaknesses were in this energy form, there was excess radiation intake, where Superman and his containment suit had a limit as to how much radiation and energy he could absorb. Absorbing too much caused him pain and probably could have killed him, as seen in Man of Steel number 67. Shock pods, acting like tasers, were seen to paralyze Superman in Action Comics 734, basically rendering him powerless. An energy control being, an inhabitant of Kandor, was able to capture and contain Superman in Action Comics 734, using its ability to control all forms of energy it came in contact with. Disruptor cannon or similar technology caused Superman's energy form to disperse, which made it very hard for him to reform himself, and therefore he needed to revert back to being Clark Kent to carry on, as seen in Superman Annual number 9. And excessive use of powers. In Adventures of Superman 549, Superman was seen to be winded after flying an elevator full of people out of his burning apartment building using his magnetic grip. He even admitted as much to Jimmy Olsen on page 14. Although this also could have been attributed to the fact that flight reduced the effect of Superman's magnetic grip, as seen in Action Comics 734 on pages 15 and 16. He had more control when he was standing on solid ground. At the time, many fans were unimpressed, arguing for the classic Superman to remain. Superman Blue's adventures were published for the entirety of 1997, and he was later joined by Superman Red in early 1998. However, on April 1st, 1998, in celebration of the character's 60th anniversary, Superman was returned to his classic outfit and classic powers in the special Superman Forever number 1. As for whether or not Jon Kent will indeed become Superman Blue himself in the upcoming Adventures of Superman Jon Kent miniseries remains to be seen. We'll find out when the first issue lands in comic shops in March 2023. I'm Steve Younis from SupermanHomepage.com.